So, with this podcast episode, am I reading the room wrong, or should this have been poolside with a cocktail, maybe some rooftop bar? Like, I feel like I'm in my own home office. You're obviously in a treatment room, maybe, or
Yes,
in your
I'm
home
in the
office.
brow room at the moment. Yeah.
You're in the brow room. I just feel like that's not doing us justice.
I couldn't agree more. I think we need to be like, beachside and, what's it called? A cabana.
A
A
cabana.
cabana with a pina colada, honey.
Cabana with a yes, 100%. So next time we'll have you back, depending on how this goes, and next time it'll be it'll be in a cabana somewhere. But
Uh,
thank you for joining us. I think that there's guests that we have on a podcast where we think, oh, we're going to go really deep into a topic, it's going to be really inspiring. And I definitely know I get a sense this is going to be fun. It's going to be juicy. We're going to spill the tea. We're going to go rogue. We're going to
yeah,
talk about things that are not on the agenda that we've prepared. I
yeah.
just know that that's going to be the case. But maybe I always feel that it's awkward doing an introduction of who someone is. You're better off to tell people yourself. So, who the hell's Amanda?
Oh, goodness. Where do
Oh
I begin?
God, it's like a
I
job
feel like
interview.
it is. And I feel like I've lived about five lives, realistically. Like being 39, I feel like I'm, in a sense, 100 with my, I guess, life experience or uh, work experience. So if I give you a little bit of White Lotus, when in the beginning, um, when I was 17 years old, I applied. No, I was younger than that. Let's just, yeah. When I was
Very young.
17, very young, I knew I loved biochemistry and science, and I had a mother that was severely depressed and a brother that was disabled. And I could see the impact a physical touch had on their bodies and their mental health and their system. And I wanted to find a way where, instead of being a disability support worker or a nurse like my mother, that I can contribute and make people feel good, but also help them. So, with my love for science and coming from a single parent family, and my camera's just done that weird thing again.
No, I like
Um,
it. It's good.
I didn't have the opportunity to become a doctor like I wanted to, so I became a skin therapist, and I applied to be a dermal clinician at Vic Uni when they first had their dermal degree in 2002. So that's how long I've
Ah,
been playing with skin. I was the youngest applicant and the youngest person to go into dermal therapy at 17 years old. So I left school at year 9 to do a Bachelor of Health Science. Since then, I had worked in all of the top spas within Australia and Melbourne. I went into management very quickly, and I ended up in Dubai working for the King of Qatar and Sheikh Mohammed of Dubai, and taking care of him and his leisure needs, as well as being a leisure director for the Marriott in the Middle East and the Gulf. So lots of juicy stuff there, dealing with, Ronaldo, Justin Bieber, Mariah Carey, etc. To the point that I ended up living with Lady Gaga and being her personal lady, shall we? Juicy stuff like doing, Cyndi Lauper's manicure, or filling up the bleach bath for Cyndi Lauper's eczema and stuff like this in New York. So some wild stories there. And then I took a break from that kind of crazy world, working with the elite of society. And I went and worked in fashion for 5 years in Italy. Came back to Australia, did some more fashion. And then I remembered how much I just love skin and helping people. Went back into clinic and then became a business development manager for InSkin Cosmetics. And that was my family for nearly 7 years.
and that's where our paths crossed.
It is, yeah, a very long time ago. I remember when it was all about Zing, and I remember every fanny has a face, and the shock and awe in the conference was like, oh my God, you can't say that. But
So here you've
I,
come from looking after royalty to
yeah,
Bogan Jay from Bendigo. telling you every fanny has a face. So I
Literally.
apologize for that.
Oh, that's so fine because it's true. Every family does have a face. I think we need to remember that even if we're doing eyebrows, we're treating skin. So it's all skin.
Mm, absolutely. So it's interesting, and when it comes to the expectations or demands of looking after a celebrity client or royalty, how's
Mm-hmm.
that different from clients that come in every day, or is that something that you go, well, I've got that frame of reference now, I treat them like royalty? Because that's like probably a bit of a wanker marketing buzzword. I treat my clients like royalty, but you actually can. You can
Yeah,
back that. Isolate
yeah.
every client like a celebrity. It's like, is it different? How's it different? Like, I don't know. I'm
The truth
curious.
is that when you're dealing with the elite of society that get recognized, they can't, do anything in the world without a pack there or something like that, is to treat them like normal people. They want to be just another face. I said, can I have a selfie? Can I have an autograph? They want to be treated like normal human beings because at the end of the day, they're living a human experience and they have wants and needs. And a lot of them tend to have a lot more mental health conditions than we give them credit for because, again, it's a brand. They're a brand too.
Hmm.
So I think with celebrities, what we need to understand is they're a normal human being living a human experience. And if we treat them with compassion and kindness, that's really all they want. They don't want to be treated like a superstar. They have that in their daily life. But coming back into clinic, it has allowed me to have a different perception and I guess level of service for my clients, to treat them like royalty, absolutely. But remember that everybody is special. And I think sometimes we feel like in clinic, I see some therapists go, oh, here we go, I'm just going to do another hydrofacial, We don't know how Jane has showed up today. Jane could have had, a really bad morning. She could have had a fight with her husband. Someone could have died. We don't know that their experience. And I am a big believer of treating people with full compassion and treating them like, I call it the granny factor. Okay. So I always say, if your grandmother came into the shop or if you bought your grandma a voucher for anything, how would you want her to be treated when you came and had a treatment? Treat everybody like they're your nan, because everyone deserves to feel special. They're paying you for your time. It's a privilege to serve them. And that's what comes back to me having that wellness and that care and making people feel better. And that's why I do what I do, because I can see the impact it had on my mother with her depression and my brother with his disability. So, regardless whether it's royalty or every person, that's how I treat people, and that's how I treated them, and that's how I became so, I guess, iconic in their industry and circle of, if there was a magazine shoot, if someone had to do something for anybody, I'd be flown in to do that because yeah.
They felt
That's
safe with you.
exactly, they felt safe. And I've seen the most nitty gritty things that, obviously I've got NDAs that I can't talk about things, but, it's about treating people with compassion and kindness and making them feel special in whatever state they're in.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
think that's
It's
the
not
key because it made me think I'm a normal person, but I want to be treated like a celebrity, whereas they're a celebrity, they want to be treated like a normal person. So you got to meet people where they're
exactly.
at.
And that middle place is the granny factor. Treat
Mm.
them like they're your grandma. How do you want your grandma to be treated? Treat them like that. Does grandma want a glass of water when she comes in? Does she want her slippers popped on when she gets off the bed? Do those things. Help her,
You'd
you know?
look over to the glass of the water as she's got confused. She's popped her dentures in them.
Literally.
Poor Etty. That was my nana's name.
Oh, bless.
Good old Etty May. Um, Nana used to come to her hairdressing appointment with her mail. So while I was doing her hair, she'd hold a bill up and I'd tell her what the bill was for and how much it was because she couldn't read. She'd gone legally blind, and that
Oh,
was our
bless.
that was our little thing. So that's good customer service. Read the bills for your nana while she's in.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. I've done, yeah, this. I've done a lot of those sorts of things at the same time. And
So,
I think at the end of the day is remembering that no matter what they ask, just exceed their expectations. Always under promise and over deliver. But that's enough on that.
so when you think about the opportunities that you've had, that they're wild.
Mm-hmm.
Like there's the sexy fly in, fly out
On
celebrity
super yachts, all the things.
super
Yeah.
yacht. Like that's wild, but also your business has grown fast. You climbed the ranks and were renowned as a BDM at InSkin.
Thank you.
That has to come from a burn, a desire. That doesn't just happen. So I just got goosebumps.
I know. I just got like a warm, tingly feeling. Thank you.
Oh, that's nice. Uh,
It's because I treated all of my salons and accounts and their staff like I treat everybody else. And I go over and above for people. I just think that people deserve that. I don't know. That's just how I am.
but that's come from like your motivation and
Mhm.
passion has come from a really deep place. That was
My
instilled.
why is very deep, very
Yeah.
deep. My why comes from massaging my mum's feet when she was crying when I was 8 years old and making her feel better. That's where that comes from. It's not fabricated. It's not like those people that feed homeless people and put it on YouTube. It's a authentic, deep connection that I have with serving people, if
Yeah.
that makes sense. Yeah.
And do you, that's, I could assume that's obviously got a lot to do with your personal brand and how you've
Mhm.
been able to build your clinic's brand, but also who Amanda is in the industry.
Yeah.
Because you can't fake a deep connected why. Is that, or am I not seeing it, or do you think no, it's all about strategy? You got to post
No,
4 times
God.
a day, or is it just
I have
no? I just show up and whatever.
I show up and there are days that I get on my Instagram stories and I cry and people go, "You're doing this for attention." You know what? I'm a human living a human experience again. My why comes down to helping people, and that's why I get out of bed every day. There are people, and I'll use my husband for an example, who just comes to work to get his paycheck and goes home and hates his life. Where I would literally do this for free if I didn't have to pay bills. I would, okay? Because this is kind of like my this is I'm not going to use the word legacy, but I want to leave an impact on the world in a positive way. And that's how I show up with everybody.
I love that. Yeah, lots of goosebumps today.
Thank you.
And I changed my mind. I don't feel like this is appropriate to have as a poolside cabana conversation. It's kind of gone deeper than I expected. So,
Sorry.
but
Look, on the outside, I'm all fun and frills. And I'm really trying to understand my own personal brand. I'm not going to lie. My personal brand on my Instagram is, a mix of so many things. But the higher self brand is the reason it's called higher self is to be your higher self in whatever shape or form you are. It came into me in a meditation with Chandel, actually.
I
That
did
brand.
it.
Yeah.
Wow, that's amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So.
And often those meditations and also so ultimately Shondel's job is to bypass your conscious mind into your unconscious and find out what's really happening, what you really want.
Yeah.
So that's where your brand came to life is going, well, what is my core value? What do I ultimately want? And that's higher self. Yeah.
That's right. It's to be enough, to be good enough. I went to Chandel to work on limiting beliefs. And at the end of the day, like my tattoo on my hand in Arabic says, be your higher self. Show up every day as the best version of you. It's not 100% every day, but you do the best that you can.
Absolutely. Yeah. I love that. So let's shift things up a gear. I've got a question that I don't care if anyone else wants to know. I want to know.
Okay. Juicy stuff now. Let's get into the tea.
I don't know. I feel like what we've covered is probably juicier than this. This is more, I don't know. My curiosity is,
Mhm.
what did being a skincare BDM teach you about being an amazing business owner or therapist or business? Because that's a
Mm.
really unique uh,
Transition. Yeah. Because usually
transition.
it's the other way. They've been a
Yep.
business owner and they want to be a BDM because life is easier as a BDM or is perceived to be easier as a BDM.
Yes. Yeah.
Okay. And I think sometimes with being a BDM, it's seen as glamour. I mean, 8 hours on the road, kidney infections because you forget to eat and forget to drink water is not super glamorous. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Because you're literally just like fighting traffic, showing up for your clients and going. Um, I think if we go back to the question, I was hungry for something more. I loved being a BDM. I loved it. There are days that I feel like calling Tanya up and going, please take me back. I want to go. But as a BDM, when I was going into clinics, what I would find more often than not, and especially those clinics that were struggling financially with their brand, with their marketing, with their message, I would sit them down and go, what's your why? 90% of them would say, I just did this because I don't want to work for somebody else and it's easy. And you know what? At the end of the day, your clients can feel that. It's like when you're desperate to get a partner and you go out on every dating site and you're at the bar, and it's kind of like you admit this energy of, you know,
Yeah.
um, it's the same thing when you have a business. You've got to live and breathe your brand regardless of the dollars, because the dollars come and go. And especially in this economy and what we're in, it's like this all the time. You've got to have that motivation. It's not even motivation, it's dedication to show up and believe in your why every day, regardless of whether the bottom line is great this week or stunning next week. Does that make sense?
It does. Because it's almost like, well, it is. It's an unfair advantage being exposed to hundreds of different business owners and seeing ones that have got a beautiful personal life and their business has helped feed that, and people
Mm-hmm.
that have made shit decisions with staff and made mistakes and got into debt. Like, you get to see that cross section and then learn from that. It's almost like, to be a business owner, go and be a BDM for 6 months and learn what works and what doesn't. Uh,
Yeah, totally.
yeah, it's fascinating.
It
But
is.
I think for you, with your brand, your clinic, Higher Self, obviously it was a no-brainer for you to stock the in-skin brands. And you're a Sapphire
No,
partner.
oh, one day, darling, one day, but not yet.
You're
Um,
Diamond.
we're diamond for the quarter consistently at the moment, so we will be diamond next year in Skin Pop Awards. So you can, if you're still emceeing, you can
So
shoot me
see
down.
what I was doing. I was manifesting Sapphire.
I love that.
Oh,
We will
how's that
manifest
for?
Sapphire. We will
Is
be Sapphire,
is that
but
a good save? That was a good
oh,
save.
100%. So we're technically a double platinum. Realistically, in my first year when I was by myself in a little tiny hole in the wall, working 2 days as an in-skin educator online and then 5 days in my clinic, because by myself, my clinic grew really fast. Within 3 months, I was fully booked. I was already bronze, basically, almost bronze. I was like $4,000 off, and I'm still like punching myself, like, why didn't you just get the award? You know, um, but I didn't have, you guys to support me and encourage me to get there back then. So we're double platinum since we've had the premises, the clinic that we've built. And we've been consistently diamond for the last few quarters. We've way surpassed. We're almost in sapphire now territory at the moment, because we're actually beyond diamond in this quarter, and the quarter's not even ended.
Ah, wow. Yeah. And of
Yeah,
course, that level of intricacy because you worked the system. So yeah,
I
that's
have
cool.
worked the system, but I don't live and breathe for the system and my dollars. And with my team, when it comes to retailing, um, It's all about answering their questions and solving their problems, educating them versus selling them. I don't believe that we sell them.
Hmm. But that's what you were saying before, about like, if there's a desperation, you can sense that energy. And
Yeah.
in business, we call it sales breath. Clients pick up on it. They
Oh,
know
yeah.
that if you're flogging a product pack because it's on sale and you've got to hit a quota, or your boss has told you we need to sell more sunscreen, like, clients, they're not silly.
They're
They
not
can
silly at
smell
all.
that on you. So
Yeah.
again, the byproduct of providing value and solving problems is high sales.
Yes, exactly.
What it comes down to.
When
But
we do our figures for, you guys every week, my receptionist does that and she's always like, holy shit, we sell so much product. The way that I design the shop, because I come from my Prada fashion background, is I've designed the shop to be almost like you're walking into Louis Vuitton. But in the back, we do the business of skin. And the front part of my business, even though it is not people walking in just to, buy a body moisturizer or a candle, we've got candles that have been there for 2 years. People are not interested in buying candles from me. They come in here to buy serious skincare, and that skincare business sometimes makes way more money than the back of house.
absolutely.
And
Say that
and
louder for the girls at the back.
yeah, it literally, like, honestly, to the point where it's almost like treatment is there to support the front, not the other way around.
That's a very different thinking, though.
Mm.
That's a very different thinking from what a lot of
What
business
we've been
owners have.
taught, right? We've been taught to put bums on beds. When I was a BDM, let's create a promo, put bums on beds, bums on beds, bums on beds. But if we look in the world now, like the world of coaching, for example, it's all online. There is no physical touch involved. Obviously, physical touch is so important, especially in our industry. But it's all about that support at home. I always say your treatment and your products, they're a marriage. They have to go together. If you want the results, you can't, go to the gym and then eat McDonald's drive-through on the way home. You are not going to get your results. Yeah.
No.
So
So, like, how long have you had your clinic for now? How long has it been open for?
I was by myself for 8 months in a hole in the wall,
Yeah.
in a town. To give you perspective, my husband decided to move into a town with 10,000 people in the middle of nowhere where we had no family, no friends, or connection. Thanks, mate. Because, the surf is good. Hot tip to all the girls watching this: do not marry a surfer because they'll always have FOMO for the rest of their life. But anyway, so we came here and I was in a hole in the wall for 8 months. And within, I would say, honestly, probably within 3 months of having that business while I was still an educator. So to put it in perspective, I was still educating for InSkin while I was running this business for a year. And within the first 3 months being fully booked, I was doing like 70 hours of clients a week, then educating 2 days online full time. I knew I had to open a business because no one does skin like we do skin or think the way that we think.
Yeah, that's amazing. Yeah. So, in a short period
So
of time,
to answer the question, it's about, we're almost into our third year, 2 years in this building.
yeah.
Yeah.
Like, and you would definitely we classify that's fast growth.
Yeah.
And I think as much as we can talk about your why strong and you're dedicated and your motivation levels are high, there'd be a lot of people that would kill to see how you did a consultation. Like, so what? So your consultation must be on fire in a good way.
It's not as complicated as you think. I don't believe in booking a 1 hour, sit there and tell me your life story on a computer and do an observe. We don't have an observe here. I teach my girls, you don't need a skin scanner to treat skin. That's just like it's cheating in my mind, okay? The consultation is all about understanding their goals, wants, and needs. It all comes down to you knowing your skin biology and your skin science. When I would start every O Cosmetics education, I would start with everything you learned knew about products, delete it, because we're not, I'm not going to use a brand name here. We're not Dermalogica where we go to the anti-aging section and here's the anti-aging section. Talk to the cells when the skin's not listening. So when I see a client come in, it's not only about their skin and their goals. It's about, you know, do they work in the mines? Are they a stressed mom at home? What's it going to look like in their lifestyle to get them where they want to go? And if, you know, the skin is vitamin B deficient, we supplement that just like a doctor does. When I was 18 years old, I was working at Gillette for $7 an hour. Okay. And I was famous in Australia. This is when Gillette was huge, but I was a top seller in Australia because I would do a 30-minute free facial. We were at Federation Square in Melbourne with hot pink t-shirts that said free across the boob, and we were holding balloons and throwing out $30 coupons. People could come to Collins Street and have a facial in a basement, basically. It was an old day spa that's underneath Tiffany & Co now. Anyway, and I used to get these people in and we would have sales quotas, and I never thought about my sales quota. I thought, okay, I treated myself like I was a skin doctor. I couldn't be a doctor because I didn't have the financial, or I didn't come from that childhood to have that possibility. But I still put my white coat on in my imagination every day, and I still treated everybody like that, even with oatmeal exfoliant that probably did nothing to the skin. But I used to line up 7 products after a 30-minute little treatment at 17 years old with pimples on my face. You know, spent 2 hours on the train to get in to work every day. And I would sell like 80 products a day. Mm. And it's just because I always resonated back to clients' wants and needs, solve their problems. Mm. And that's where NLP is so powerful. And I'm a huge fan of Chandel and all of that sort of thing, because you show up different for different people. If you can, I mean, I guess it's a little bit intuitive maybe for me when you read their energy and you understand. So when I consult people, it's not just consulting their skin, it's just consulting them, I guess, and making them feel special, important, giving them solutions for their problems. This is how we do it. This is our journey plan. And go from there. I mean, that's how I consult.
I know a lot of the time for new clients, I used to blast people with my personality. So
literally, right?
Yeah.
People buy people. I cannot say that enough. If you show up shit, guess what? You're gonna get shit.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, absolutely. It's so true, isn't it? Yeah. So
you know, if you are a leader and you show up always in a bad mood, do you think your team's going to be happy to come to work?
100%. Yeah, no, absolutely not. Yeah.
So
I'd like to get your thoughts, because I know that you've got strong opinions and you know how things like to be, how you want things to be done, and that's good.
Yeah.
It's a superpower.
Here we go.
There's something in there. I just get this energy that there's a strong opinion in there that you'll just want to share and shout from the rooftops. What are your thoughts on people that are going to Mecca and Sephora and having their mini facials, and they're buying Drunk Elephant this and Active that, and they're 14, and retail people are selling them $180 products that are going to rip shreds off their barrier? Like, I can just sense that there's an opinion in there, and I wanted to pick that scab. So let's go. Let's go.
Okay. Well, first and foremost, I can't walk into a Mecca or Sephora because I want to almost grab people and shake them.
Yeah.
Like literally. When clients come in and they're using Glory Oil and, you know, Paula's Choice 2% salicylic, I don't know if you saw on my stories the other day, I went past Sephora and there was 2% salicylic Paula's Choice in the repair barrier section. Like, that is going to do anything but repair barrier. So I hate the way that Mecca and Sephora have designed fast skincare. It's kind of like fast food, okay? they're eating macas, they're all going to end up unhealthy with, high cholesterol, if you will. Unfortunately, if you do go into those spaces, you are 90% of the time going to end up with a quick fix that's not going to fix the solution to your problem. When a client comes in here and you can tell that I tell clients, bring your products, and sometimes they bring backpacks. I've had a lady bring a suitcase of stuff with her. I have influencers that lay on the bed and say, I've been gifted this. Can you tell me if I could use this on my skin? Because I have to show up online and share about this, right? There is probably something good in every product. Okay.
Yeah.
Marketing is a beast in itself. We all understand that. But when they come to clinic with these hundreds of products and sometimes thousands of dollars that they've spent at makeup that's just destroying their skin, we always come back to the science of how it's talking to the skin. Sometimes, I know this is going to sound juicy, but sometimes I think that, God, I feel bad for saying this, Mecca and Sephora is making me money.
Yeah.
Because they're getting their skin screwed and they come to me to fix it.
Yeah.
You go to a personal trainer to lose weight because you've got bad habits of drinking, 10 cans of Coke a day and McDonald's. Why do you think the weight loss industry is so big? Because people create bad habits. Unfortunately, Mecca and Sephora is kind of like that. And then it gets to the stage where they get desperate and they come and find someone like us.
Yeah.
You need to position yourself to be that skin expert, not just Betty's beauty box down the road. I have people that go to see dermatologists. I'll give you an example. I had an Irishman fly from Sydney to come and see me who thought he had systematic eczema. The dermatologist put him on high eczema oral medication and his liver started to fail. Okay. And his missus is a nurse and she heard about me and she put him on a flight and said, look, can you just go see Amanda and get a second opinion? He'd been on this medication for nearly 2 years at this stage. No eczema change. Okay. Came to me, sat down with me for 5 minutes. I said, you don't have eczema. He's like, what do you mean? I said, you have tinea. You've got tinea varicella all over your body. You've got a fungal infection on your body. I said, when did this start? He goes, when I was in the rugby change room, I got an itchy, scratchy thing on my leg and it spread to my whole body. I said, okay, come with me. We went down to the chemist. I gave him a $19 bottle of anti-dandruff shampoo. Said, wash your body with this every day for the next 2 weeks and give me a ring and tell me if it's gone. It's gone. Because sometimes, I'm not saying that I'm better than a dermatologist, but sometimes people like Mecca and doctors get so prescription happy or sales happy that they forget to see what's right in front of them, the science of it. So it's probably not as juicy as what you wanted me to say, but...
No, I had a friend come over for dinner a few weeks ago and she said, oh my God, don't look at my face, I've got acne. And there's a woman in her 40s, late 40s, and acne to her was she had a couple of pimples here.
Oh my God, no. And I have so many people that come to me and say, I have rosacea. They have rosy cheeks. And the girl at Mecca that's like, had a 2-hour skin education on Drunk Elephant is telling everyone they've got rosacea now. So she's going to show up the rest of her life with rosacea.
But my friend said, no, that's okay. She said, but my dermatologist is going to get rid of it. I'm going to go on Roaccutane, which I'm a bit nervous about, but I said, whoa, stop. So anyway, I'm not going to tell you the unqualified advice that I gave you because I'll get in trouble, but she's getting a second opinion.
Good.
It's not acne. She's got a couple of pimples. Yeah. So anywho, but I think back to that, like I've got an 11-year-old daughter who is so hugely, massively invested and obsessed with
like
skincare,
TikTok skincare,
and Mecca and Sephora, and we used to go shopping when she was 8 and go to Cotton On or Target, whereas now she's like, I want to go to Mecca. Yeah, like that. Their marketing has to be geared towards young women and
Absolutely.
children. The same as my son's obsessed with certain YouTubers that sell energy drinks and chocolate.
If we all understand the psychology of having the candy at the checkout, Mega has taken that and amplified that into an entire store. That's what they've done. They put candy at a baby's height at the checkout in the supermarket, so a baby will pick it up and mum will buy it. They've done the exact same thing. It's the psychology of sales. They've made bright, shiny lights, colourful packaging, and naturally, a little girl is going to want that.
Yeah, it's a scary thought, isn't it?
It is.
It can be used for good, and it can be used.
It can be used for good, and at the end of the day, it comes down to education. I think what we forget, I guess, from like your and my generation, our parents were baby boomers. They're the ones that were using a bar of soap and oil of Olay, and they never wore sunscreen, and they've all got their skin cancers and all these sorts of things happening.
Literally.
We're in the generation of knowledge where we can then go and say, instead of our parents, or us as parents, or our counterparts can say, you know what, go get a professional opinion. When you're in this industry, sometimes I get so frustrated. We go to university, we spend $25,000 for people then to go, you just paint nails. We don't. And it's really hard sometimes to make people understand the value of us, even you guys as hairdressers, when there is a world infiltrated with Mecca and TikTok influencers. Once I get through my own limiting beliefs, Amanda Instagram is going to get on there and spill some serious tea about all of the BS that I see. It's going to be hot. It's going to be spicy. It will be coming soon, but I've just got to get through my own, fear of showing up.
Yep, absolutely. Well, when you do, tag me in it because I want to see that. I want to see that tea being spilled.
Sounds good.
Anywho. Well, I think I could talk all day, every day, but I think we've got people to do, you've got people to treat, people to look after, and that was fun.
Thank you. It wasn't pina coladas in a cabana, but it was still fun.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm going to hold you to that.
Next time. You're in Gold Coast next time.
Absolutely. Amanda, you're a champion. Thank you, guys. Thank you for listening. How do our followers find you on Instagram? What's your handle for your salon, your clinic?
It's higherself.skin.
Awesome. Lovely. All right. Make sure you subscribe, you share the podcast, share the love. Thank you so much for listening. Thank you, Amanda. Love your work.
Thank you.